Okay, so this is a build guide on my critical hit frost wall life stacking. This does not do cast on crit comment or anything like that, but it could, and I'll explain how. How you could do comment. So the way you can do comment with this build is if you swap out the staff for a wand, which is what I'm going to do right now. Let me get a... Oh, that's right. It's down right now. Fuck. I don't think I can get a wand. Okay, well, I'll just... it should do enough damage without the staff, I think. That's right. The trade side is down right now. In both in-game and outside of the game. So... I'll just showcase how you can get cast on crit, or in this case it's cast on block. Also, Disciple of Varashta is not really what you want to play for this build. It's you really want to play something different. We get rid of the staff. And as you can see, we have a 50% chance to block, so it's basically a dice roll. We're going to have a shitload low resistance. That's not good, but I think we're just going to have to deal with it. Or, now that I think about it, I could try something real quick. Alright, we'll just have to deal with it. I'll fix it later. Damn, we really do need a wand. I would just buy one, but we can't right now. It's down. Okay. I will try and show you that you can do cast on comet. You can do cast on block comet with this build. I will attempt to show that. It's not going to happen at all. But when it does happen, it'll be glorious. this. Should be blocking a lot more often. What the fuck? It's 50%. Okay. So you saw there that you can do comets with cast on block. You need a wand though. Get a wand. Okay, so the only difference with cast on block comet is you're going to want a shield, and you're going to want a Spalin and a wand. That's it. You're going to want a Spalin with as high block chance as you can possibly get. So don't get one like this. This one's shit. But that's what you're going to want if you want to do the comet. But you can do it. It's just going to be, the more block chance you have, the more often you're going to be dropping comets. So very simple. So if you want to do the block chance grab, like I showed, you can easily get 50% with this with no investment on the tree to block chance. You can get 50%. But I'll show the tree. We get all these nodes for damage, crit chance over here, penetrate cold resistance, spell damage, crit chance, elemental damage over here, more elemental damage over here, more elemental damage over here, and less crystal life. That kind of depends on what you're using in terms of supports. I'll go over that in a second. You come down here for more crit chance. We're using Malagaros, so try and get as little crit damage bonus as possible, you know? You don't really want it. Hold on. What map modifiers? I'm trying to figure out why Why is my resistance so low? Must be a map modifier. Because my resistances are still low as fuck. Which is like... Yeah, it's a map modifier. Okay. So, anyways, so... You want to get 3 Grand Spectrum Rubies. 1, 2, and 3. You want to get these over here for Elemental Archon, Elemental Archon here too. More cold pen and cold damage. And +1 the level of all cold skills. More cold damage. Crit chance, crit chance. That's about it. I'm trying to see what like these do. No, those aren't useful. And then you want to anoint this Careful Assassin because we're using Malagaros, so the downside is literally just not a downside. It's only upsides. And we got a little more elemental damage here. Yeah. So yeah, pretty easy build to put together. You don't really need a helmet like this. In fact, I don't even recommend you use a helmet like that, even though they're kind of cheap now. What I recommend you use in terms of the helmet is one of these. I recommend you use an Innsmouth. But you can use this if you want. Don't have to use a Headhunter either. I'm just using it for the strength and dex. So I can use Kael'th's Heart and Malagaro's Virtuosity. But any belt with strength will work, because then you can get more dex in the tree. The Snake Pit Ring, you can use any Snake Pit Ring really, but one with increased mana cost efficiency is going to help a lot. You want a ring with increased fire damage and cold damage. You want a staff with extra fire, extra cold. Or if you're using a wand, you still want extra fire, extra cold. So it just kind of depends on what you're using. You definitely want Defiance of Destiny, a good one. unless you just want to do more damage. If you don't care about surviving and you want to do more damage, get one with plus to spell skills or projectile skills or whatever the fuck. Doesn't really matter. And then you got this increased cold damage is necessary, 100% necessary, unless you're using a Svalin. So that's up to you if you want to use a Svalin. I don't have a very good pair of boots, but I just got some with some life and resistance, and I was dead. That was all I needed really. I don't have a good headhunter either. I only have two charm slots. Optimally, you want one with two charm slots, not one. But we got these two. I have learned that Ignite is a lot more potent than Poison, so you're probably better off using an Ignite charm instead of a Poison one, but you keep the Bleed one for sure, because you don't want to be inflicted with corrupted blood and such. So the Bleed one is necessary. I'll kind of go over what's necessary. Kael'th's Heart is necessary because we're stacking life, so you're going to want Kael'th's Heart. Defiance of Destiny, in my opinion, is necessary. Snake Pit Pro Ring is 100% necessary. You just don't need one with these modifiers. You can get really any Snake Pit Pro Ring, and it should be fine. Malagar's Virtuosity is absolutely necessary. And Innsmouth, in my opinion, is necessary unless you're able to, unless you don't mind putting efficiency support. If you don't want to use efficiency support, then Innsmouth is absolutely necessary. And then I'm doing like Djinns and shit with Disciple Varashta. So I don't know why. I need to change it. I probably need to change it. But this is what I'm doing with it. It'll cast a blazing sword every now and then. Every time I cast like a spell. Let's see. So it's pretty cool, I guess. Also, you can put supports into the blazing sword that I just don't have in there. I should probably do that actually. I'm trying to think of what supports to put in there. I don't really know. Just like supports that help your other skills, I guess. Would be nice. Summon Ruzan and Invulnerable. Okay. So how does that exposure work? Okay, so it is actually helpful. It's very helpful. Oh wow. Okay. So yeah, we'll use. Hold on. Yeah, we'll use that. And let me see if there's any more exposure stuff. Exposure related. Cold exposure. Okay, well, what's his crit chance? Doesn't seem to be very high, if any. I don't think it has any. So could we potentially add crit chance in a way? Maybe. Because I just care about it inflicting exposure at this point. I don't really care about out there doing damage. You know, inexorable crit, perfect, and pinpoint critical, perfect. I'll go over to supports in a second, or you could just skip forward. I put it in the wrong one. Okay, so inexorable critical can't be used on it. That kind of sucks. Doesn't have a very high crit chance. And it doesn't do cold damage anyway, so I'm just gonna get rid of that. This. Alright. So the supports you want to use for Frostbolt are Pinpoint Critical, Rapid Casting 2, Considered Casting. Could get rid of Rapid Casting 2. Efficiency 2, Deliberation. For the most part, we stay at pretty high mana until we use our Frostbolt. So what you could do is use Zenith, one of my favorites. And you could get rid of Rapid Casting too, right? As you can see, we're not using very much mana. Then you could use Zenith on Frostwall as well, which is probably what we're going to do. So yeah, you really, I guess you don't really need Innsmouth if you're just going to use Zenith, because we have +7 here, +3 here, and we don't have any plus skills here, but you could get plus the skills here. And yeah, 31, 31, they're pretty high level. We barely use any mana. Oh, and my ring has increased mana cost efficiency, so that helps a shitload. A ton. Helps by a lot. So that cannot be understated how much that helps. So yeah, the supports are kind of, whatever you want to do still. But I'm using Pinpoint Critical, Zenith 2, Considered Casting, Efficiency 2, and then I got Spell Cascade for Frostwall, and for Frostball I have Deliberation, and the rest are the same. And for the Blazing Sword I have Potent Exposure, because it actually adds exposure. So very helpful for this build. Very nice, very nice. I didn't know I didn't know we had that. So maybe Disciple of Varashta is actually what you want to play. So I have a fully upgraded boss. I haven't fought a fully upgraded boss with this character yet, so we're gonna see. We're gonna find out. How much damage do we actually do? We are about to find out. A good amount, honestly. The only downside is the cooldowns to Frostbolt. That's the only downside I'm saying. So if we had a Temporalis, this build would be even better. But then we wouldn't be able to stack life. That's the only downside. If we had a Temporalis, we wouldn't really be able to stack life above like 3,000. So having this much life is pretty crazy. But yeah, we did a lot of damage. I mean, I'm down to try a Citadel now, fully upgraded Citadel. Well, not an Uber Citadel. It's not an Uber Citadel. I will say that because we don't have like the last 2 points. But yeah, a lot of damage. Pretty cool. I kind of want to try a skill that isn't Frostbolt and Frostwall or Ice Wall or Frostwall. That's what it's called. I wanted to try a build with a skill that isn't those. But I want to try like a skill that's still an ice skill. So let's get a plus 19 real quick. How much is a plus 20? Not too much, right? Yeah, too much. Let's do a plus 19. And I want to try Frost Darts. Yeah, I want to try Frost Darts or Eye of Winter. Maybe Eye of Winter would be a cool one. Each use of this skill does 900% more damage with its first hit against each enemy. We could try this. I can get multiple. So let's get two. I want to try both of these. I'm gonna try. Get two of these. Just to put this real quick. I want to see like what can we do with these, you know? So Frost Darts, what is the crit chance? Very high, actually. Yeah, very high. Holy shit. So yeah, I want to try Frost Darts. How does this do? How does this work? You know, how much damage is this gonna do? Like how viable is this? Like, could we potentially do an Eye of Winter slash Frost Darts build? Oh, okay. Well, I'm very tired. Oops. Okay, that doesn't work for that one. Very unfortunate. Oh, it has a cooldown. What? That's a really. Alright, the only downside is we got like no AoE. And they stunned me out of the cooldown. Okay, cool. Fucking sucks. Alright, so it could work, but we'd have to spec into it more, I say. But it could work, it could be cool. So it's a very flexible build, you know. You could use multiple different things. Could also go for like a projectile chaining build. I can see that working. Be very fun to use. Could also take out like considered casting and put in multiple projectiles. I can see that being kind of fun for. Where is it? Where is multi shots? 2. There it is. So you could take out like this one, or damn, all these just give it so much damage. And then multi-shot. Multi-shot actually, like, kind of, if you're able to hit with all 3 projectiles, it's actually an increase in damage, not a decrease. But I think I'm just gonna keep it the way it is. We got a headhunter effect. That's why we're shooting so many projectiles. Obviously, you don't need headhunter to deal a lot of damage. Kind of showed that with the boss kill. So yeah, you get a lot of mana regen. You get a lot of life, a lot of resistance. If you want to play a life pool build, this is kind of probably your go-to right here, man. Shit. You were like, oh, I want to play a life stacker. This is it right here. This is your life stacker. But you want to do spells, you know, frost spells. This is your life stack and frost spell build right here. Perfect. Telling you, Kael'th's Heart is very underrated. Spirit is very overrated. You do not need Spirit to make a good build. And this is proof. It's a very good build. This is a build that can do all content. It's a build that can clear maxed out bosses. Definitely can do Ubers. I know for a fact it can, just from that boss kill we had. This is a build that really shows you the power of Kael'th's Heart. You don't need Comet, you don't need Cast on Crit Comet. You don't need any of that garbage. It's not garbage, but you know what I mean. It's a very good build. Cast on Crit, Energy Shield is very good, but you don't need it. You don't need to play the meta with Spirit and all that. You're good. This is proof. Do millions of damage. Frost Wall and Frost Bolt with Kael'th's Heart. No infusions needed, no spirit needed. Pretty crazy. Go ahead and give it a try. I say. I think it's good. I think it's goated. The only thing you're going to want to change is put on a unique Ignite charm. And if you want to do Comet, Cast on Block, you can do Cast on Block with Svalin. And you can spec a little bit into energy, getting energy, and you should be able to. You will see a lot of comets. Trust me. If you spec a little bit into energy and you use a wand and a Svalin, you'll see a lot of comets. All right, that's it.